straight from the realm of all things gaming. Everything Noob starts now.
Episode 140, the Everything Noob podcast. Hello and welcome. I am Vortek, joined as always by Miss Jemmy and Mr. Dreadlow. How's it going?
What's happening? We'll join you no more.
After 3 years, we're all still here.
Yeah,
we're good. Things that aren't true.com. How's it going? Welcome to the Everything New podcast, the last installment that we foresee happening, at least for some time. We'll, of course, still have the channel and all the names and everything, the website. All that will still work, but we don't foresee coming back to the Everything New podcast after this episode. So we have some random news stories we want to talk about. We have some other things to talk about with the new show we're doing. That should start, if everything goes according to plan, next week. And that'll be a lot of fun. So what do you think? Should we do news first, or should we talk about the new show?
Let's do the news first.
News first.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay. So we have actually a few random little news stories we wanted to address. Something I was just looking at, there's not a whole lot going on right now in gaming. We're in that lull before the holiday season. But there's a lot of just hype about things. Something I just learned about moments ago is there's going to be a new Burnout game.
What?
Yeah. Have you ever played Burnout?
Yeah, I played it for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this.
You didn't like Burnout?
No, it was a little goofy.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like it. I was like, it wasn't serious enough for me.
What is Burnout?
Burnout is a game where you're supposed to cause as much damage as humanly possible. You get points based on how much damage you cause by taking a sports car and maybe jumping off a ramp and crashing into traffic. Or
that sounds like fun.
See, I just would rather play Grand Theft Auto, though, for that. Because at least then when I'm done, like, destroying everything, I can go back to doing whatever it is I had to do.
They haven't made a new one for some time. The last one was Burnout Paradise, I think. And the devs are teasing everyone on their Twitter account saying that they have 2 games coming in 2016. One is a driving game. Let's see. Yes, one is a driving game, and they just kept going on to tease. What sort of driving game, you ask? A spiritual successor. Speed, traffic, and crashing. Lots and lots of crashing. And they just kept kind of teasing people. Everyone was like, what does this mean? So the speculation is there's going to be a new Burnout game under a different name, because EA still owns the rights to Burnout.
Now, I mean, this means that the environment can be destroyed as well. Is that what you're saying?
I hope so. Usually it was just like the Burnout I played, one of the original ones, it was just traffic. Like you would just blow up as many cars as possible. I don't know if future ones, because I only played up to like the second one. I don't know if future ones ever implemented the buildings blowing up and things of that nature. But you absolutely should, especially in this day and age. 2016.
Yeah, I mean, they've got that technology now, so.
I mean, if that's the whole goal of the game, yeah, the buildings and stuff should all blow up and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I'm pretty stoked because, like I said, I haven't played since like a long time ago. And it's one of those games that just kind of fell off for me, but I always wanted to go back to it. And it was one of those games where a friend always had it. So we'd play and have some fun. I never get it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But once I kind of got interested and I was on Steam a lot, I was like, I remember Burnout. And I looked, I'm like, oh, the last game was Burnout Paradise. And I don't want to buy this. It's old. So, I don't know. I would like to see what they do with it. That was my little bit of excitement.
Yeah.
For 2016.
Sounds like fun.
Still waiting on Kingdom Hearts 3.
You know, I went for years after I got my PS3 anticipating Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
And I got my PS3 when the PS3 was still pretty young. And people were telling me that, yeah, they're making a Kingdom Hearts 3 for PS3. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
I mean, they said they were.
Yeah. I got Little Big Planet. That was what I had on my PS3. And I played the crap out of it.
They have one of those for the PS4, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because I only have one PS4 game right now, and it really bothers me. And I'm like, I've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out for PS4 or Final Fantasy 15, one or the other. I don't care which. Just release something, Square Enix, please.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
those are
waiting for Half-Life
exclusives.
3. What are you talking about?
Well, everybody's waiting on
Keep
that.
waiting. So
The wait is real.
once they announced that they're making it for PS4, I wanted to rage quit PlayStation for doing that to me. Like I had this console
And
sitting
it's
there.
still not out.
I know, and still we have a lot of definite screens and whatever you want to call it, gameplay footage.
You can buy the game now, I think, on Amazon, though. Like, you can buy a pre-order of it.
You could pre-order Half-Life 3 right now if you wanted to. It doesn't
No!
mean you're gonna
I
get it.
know.
No, you can't. Don't lie to these people.
I
You
remember
pre-ordered
they did that
anything.
once. They had a pre-order for something that they were anticipating coming out and never did. I don't know what it was. It was a long time ago.
Oh, well, I'm
It's
sure
when the
it's happened.
pre-ordering first came out. These companies were trying to pre-order something that they were thinking was going to happen, but it never did.
You know, a different company made Little Big Planet 3. Uh, the first two games were by Media Molecule, and I loved what they did. Awesome. The new company that took it over stayed true to basically everything. They got the same narrator to do the voice acting. They got, you know, everything looked the same. But once you got into the building of the actual levels themselves, I became very, very, very overwhelmed. I wanted to build levels. I wanted to like do a whole thing where maybe I even record myself building the levels.
Well, you
And
did that one.
I I showed off my old levels, which
Yeah.
were not overwhelming to, I was a lot younger when I made those, and I didn't find myself overwhelmed by the level editor. The thing that got me, and it wasn't that the tools were that much harder to use or anything, they added a bunch of additional layers to the game. Like, it was so simple before. You had 3 layers on the side scroller, so basically it added that third dimension to a platformer we haven't really seen in a two-dimensional platformer before, where
Right.
the character can jump between 3 different planes. So you could have a hill on the very back one goes up. You can have a pit of lava in the middle one, or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just some flat land, and then a downhill on the one toward the closest to you, and you can kind of make the character go in like one of 3 different directions. And then you could build the level up at the top, like, oh, I'm going to have all these trees and stuff up here. And then you go down, okay, this one's going to look like hell if they choose the route going down. You know,
Yeah,
you
it
could
gives
do all
so
kinds
many
of
more
creative
options.
stuff. Yeah. Well, they added, like, I forgot, like a dozen layers, something crazy. Even,
Wow.
I know they more than doubled the layers. I'm pretty sure it was 12. And they added like all these different things to make it easy to go between them. But what I found overwhelming was like, okay, I need to put something on almost all of these layers to make like a really cool looking game. Or otherwise I could just like put a giant piece of nothing and cut out all the layers I don't want to use. You know,
Yeah.
you could do that. But overall, like the layers just blew my mind to the point where I could not create levels. And now like Super Mario Maker's out, and I think, oh, you know what? That sounds like a lot of fun. Oh wait, I'm not good at making games to any like
Practice.
by any stretch of the word. Yeah, I could, but there's too many other games. I'd rather just play the games. I shouldn't be making the games.
Yeah, I was gonna say it takes a unique kind of person to enjoy building a level for other people to actually play on, because it is very tedious and long-winded if you make a really good map.
Yeah. And I wanted to make a cool map, but really what I wanted to do was tell my funny little story. So we put a lot of text narrative in our levels we made, and told this whole story about this little drug addict character, and it was just fun. Like we made up the names for the drugs, and he had to like uh, deliver the drugs. So he gets in this truck, and there's like a big like marijuana leaf sitting on it that we had to like
Oh,
hand draw
jeez.
it, and put it in the bed of the truck, and he just drives it like 2 feet. and and you put sensors on it. So as long as the marijuana leaf made it to the certain sensor, a door would open, and then you could go through. It's like you make your
But
own
it kept
delivery.
falling off and stuff.
Well, yeah, we had to like glue it there so that the truck had to
Oh.
get to the sensor point instead of just the. Yeah, it was fun. Like those little challenges were fun to overcome, but now the game is like too complex. And meanwhile, the company who made the original 2 games is doing something totally different. Like, you guys should have kept going Little Big Planet. I liked what you guys did better.
Yeah, there's a couple games like that that could have kept going. That were very,
I mean,
know.
a good example of a switch that I think went well was when 343 got Halo. And everyone was on one side of the fence or the other. No one could just accept the fact that Bungie was not going to do Halo anymore. There's a whole group of people out there who insist that Halo 4 is utter crap because 343 Studios made it and not Bungie. But if you play it, like I was trying to go in with an open mind. I love what Bungie does. I love their style and their sense of humor. 343 got all of that right, and Halo 4 felt a lot to me like playing Halo 1. Like it brought back this weird nostalgia that I had when playing Halo 1. And normally sequels don't do that for me.
People don't like change. In fact, they hate it. And they will just kick and scream without actually like experiencing it to make an informed opinion.
You know what game sucked for story mode was Halo 2. And everyone's like praising Bungie.
I know that there was a lot of problems with Halo 2 in multiplayer matches. People be like, things won't load in and all sorts of stuff, or like people would load at way different speeds.
Halo 2 and 3, I played multiplayer like more than any other part of any Halo game ever. But the story mode sucked in Halo 2. Switching between those 2 characters and the missions for the Arbiter were always terrible. Like every time it put me into the Arbiter, I was like, no, no, get me out of this stupid alien. Oh man, it was just a horrible, horrible story mode. I hated it so much. And Halo 4, I loved every minute of it. A lot of fun. Can I have one more tangent to go on. I know Dreadlow's like dying to talk.
No.
The twinkle in his eye.
He's like, can I talk now? And I was about to let him, and then I'm like, wait. Perfect segue. Personal news, I'm thinking of getting a new credit card. I've had like the same one since college.
What is this?
I'm getting there.
I'm like, what?
Okay.
This is way off.
You know how with credit cards you earn all these points?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never spent my points.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I can use said points to get an Xbox One.
I don't know who your credit card company is, but the credit card I have, I can use mine. I connected it with my Amazon account. Not the actual credit card, but the point system. So I can use my points as like money off on Amazon for whatever.
Amazon.
Yeah, it's the thank you reward system. I don't know if your credit card has that, but I can use my points just on Amazon. Like
There's
for
a
whatever.
lot of them. The points are like for traveling.
Yeah, I could do all
Travel
that.
points.
But it's just crazy. Like I have all these credit card points, and I'm like, maybe I don't have to miss Halo after all.
I mean, if you're about to switch, cash in those points. Don't lose them.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to use them.
Get something for your troubles.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Just thought I'd mention that. Maybe there's gonna be a benefit for me here soon. So anyway, Dreadlow, you have a story cooked up for us.
With Prison Architect?
Yes. Last week we talked about Prison Architect breaking free of early access.
And it's finally come.
And this week you learned
Yeah,
something
I
about
watched.
it. I didn't keep following it.
Well, I was thinking when it's going to do a final release, it's just going to release what it's got, right?
Yeah.
But what they said, and this was during I guess they were at some kind of GameCon convention of some sort, and they were announcing the release there, and they were talking about how all this time that we've been playing, they said in the background there's been unlocked features that we didn't unlock until the release. And they said the reason why they didn't was because if they released it and it was an alpha and everybody was testing it, everybody would have already gone through it and it would have been just boring and it wouldn't have worked. And basically what they've done is it's very similar to, have you ever played Prison Architect? Any of you guys have played it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You've
I've
tried
played
it?
Well, I've
And there's a,
seen it. I haven't played it. I haven't. That was my thing last week.
well, when you first start it up, it usually starts you out with this little short tutorial, and it kind of gives you some basics on how the game works. But it was very vague, and it was just a real short, like 5 minute little story of this guy that you're taken to death row, and he's going to get electrocuted. So they've expanded upon that, and they got 5 chapters of a story mode within Prison Architect. And this is for people who have never played before, and it's also for people who played and just want to go through the story. Of course, there's achievements and stuff involved. And if that wasn't all, they also have a feature that they've released in the release version 1.0 called Escape Mode. And you can either, use your existing maps that you've created, your existing prisons that you've already created, or you can download from the workshop, Steam Workshop, player-made maps, and you can play those maps in what they call escape mode. And what you do is you become one of the prisoners, and you walk around, and your goal is to escape that prison. And they said eventually what they're going to do is they're going to start making. They're
Do you
going
get to shiv a guy on the way out?
you all that stuff. You have to
Oh
run
my
from the guards. The guards will get you. Basically just teleports you back to your cell if you die, and then you have to start over and try to escape. And the whole goal is to escape. Some are easy and some are hard. It just depends on how good these maps are. And it was so cool for them to have this kind of hidden in the background, watching some of these elaborate prisons and maps that players have made, and they thought, wow, when this escape mode comes out, people are going to be blown away because it's going to work really well with some of these prisons that players have made already. And so it just sounds like they've upped the ante here with version 1.0. Like I said, I was just expecting it to just come out and, okay, here you go. And here's all the features. It's now a release.
Yeah.
But no, they freaking, they had it locked within the code all this time. It was always there, and they just never told us about it. And I thought that was pretty
Frustrate you a little
cool.
bit?
It does, but I think it's kind of neat, and I see why they did it though. I mean, because if they didn't think about it, we would already go through the 5 chapters, and it would be no big deal. Okay, so it's released. It's the same game. They wanted to offer something great, and they didn't want us to already have gone through the story mode. So I thought it was kind of neat. And then the escape mode was another addition that they had locked away. They said you could. He said that this could have been done back when we first started. Because it was something. That's how they actually tested the system, and the AI was that they would walk around in there as one of the prisoners. So it was something that was already part of the game. It's just they never had it unlocked. So I thought that was kind of neat. So yeah, Prison Architect really did some good stuff there. So I'm looking forward to playing it, checking it out. It just released, I think, yesterday or day before.
Huh.
I think it was the day before. It was Monday, I think. So yeah, and right now it's 33% off on Steam. So it's definitely a
worth
steal
it, I
right
would
now.
say.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for RimWorld to make it onto Steam. He was trying to get it on Steam by December, and
Wow.
I'm
it
excited
looks
about
like
that.
2016 is when it's pushed to. His
Oh.
thing, the guy developing RimWorld, his thing is he doesn't want to put it on Steam and do the whole stuck in early access thing.
Okay, that's fair. I totally respect that.
And so he's kind of ingenious because at first I'm thinking everyone's going to be tired of it by the time this hits Steam, but it's quite the opposite. A lot of people don't know what RimWorld is because it's not on Steam, but there's a lot of people who are learning about it and advertising the hell out of it just by making videos of it. And if you ever watched a RimWorld Let's Play, they're a lot of fun. I don't watch a whole lot of Let's Plays, but I like watching people play RimWorld because everyone kind of tackles it in a different way. And if it's a lot like Prison Architect, but it's more about controlling these survivors who land on a RimWorld planet, and you need to,
Yeah, the art style is very, very similar too.
yeah, very similar and very kind of like the same aspect of building. There's even you can even imprison people. So
Yeah.
I love RimWorld, but I had to learn about it through a friend, and right now that's how it's spreading because of word of mouth. By the time this game hits Steam and people start doing research on it, there's going to be so much content out there. You know, it's going to do great when it hits Steam.
Oh yeah, it's going to be marvelous. Especially after Prison Architect comes out, and people who really like the artwork of Prison Architect are going to just attack this game.
Yeah.
And they got millions. They actually announced how many people were actually playing Prison Architect. So, and it's in the millions. So, who knows? RimWorld might just might take off if they get on Steam.
Yeah. That is pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. So, there you have it. You got some RimWorld, got some Prison Architect, got some Burnout. What else is going on? I saw a quick little snippet story. People are kind of panicking because on the Apple Store, all these games, these big games, have left, and everyone's like, "WTF? What's going on?" The games include BioShock, Ghost Trick, Sam & Max, Poker Night, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, Puzzle Agent, Strong Bad, Hector, and Tales of Monkey Island. And it turns out it's just the update. Usually when a new update for iOS comes out, right now we're on iOS 9, it affects these games and they have to like update frantically. And all these developers are just stuck getting terrible reviews for a little while they quickly try to update the game for the new OS. And this time they just pulled them.
Wow.
I'm wondering...
I think that's fair because it stops the bad reviews.
Yeah.
And then people can't get a game that, or any app that's incompatible with their operating system. And two, if the developer is like abandoned it and isn't going to update anymore, that's a garbage sweep. It's out of the store.
Yeah. It got me kind of thinking about that too. Like, at first you think that was stupid, but then if you really just kind of stop for a second, like, well, now they're not going to get bad reviews, and no one unsuspectingly can buy it and get disappointed because it's not there.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they have a refund policy of like if you ask for a refund within a
difficult.
short amount of like I know on Android, like if I think you have a couple of hours that if it just doesn't work, you can just get a full refund for it.
I'm not aware that Apple has anything like that, but I would love it if they did.
Because I've
been
gotten some
disappointed.
bad apps. Like it just didn't work and I'm like, okay, yeah, refund please.
Yeah. I think it's all dependent on the developer, and it can be kind of difficult to do that. I really I don't know. I
And
think
read
this
those reviews. Read the reviews because that really helps out a lot too.
Well, yeah, I do. I spend a lot of time reading reviews. I try to sort by the exact same device that I'm using as well. But sometimes the reviews aren't recent enough and they have abandoned it. And you're like, well, I'll give it a shot, even though that was dumb.
Have you noticed that like sometimes when you're playing a game like on your phone or on a tablet, how once in a while you get this little pop-up that says review now, you know?
Oh.
It's
No,
so
the
annoying, but
begging
you know
for
what?
reviews is
But you know what, though?
horrible.
I think because as many times as I've looked at your reviews to determine whether or not this would be something I'd like or if it would work on the phone, if it works at all, you know. And reading those reviews are very important to me. And as annoying as that is, it reminds me to put a review. So if I didn't like a game or it wasn't really that well, this gave me the opportunity to say, click on the review and then go ahead and say, yeah, this game kind of sucks, you know, whatever. So because, you know, I know people rely on reviews and I don't do reviews. I don't,
Really?
you know,
I love it.
I skip them or whatever, but when it reminds me, Then I say, okay, to get rid of this thing, I'll put a review in there. Yeah, it's an okay game or whatever, and then I'll do that. But I mean, as annoying as it is, it's very important for us to give reviews, I think.
You know what?
And I
I
Anything
don't.
that didn't work or I use
kind of
from my
like the way they
feed,
do
I
that.
run and review it.
You know
Yeah.
what? I don't understand is, and I mean, I get why they do it. I just don't understand the type of people. Uh, if you go on Apple's App Store and you check out some game, and let's say it has horrible 1-star reviews, but it's like in one of the top slots, and you're like, why is this being featured
Yeah,
right
how?
now? What happens is usually the reason it got those terrible reviews is either A, an update came out that broke the game, or B, it needs to be updated because maybe there's a new version of iOS and people are complaining about the current version not working. You can read reviews and it tells you what version the person is reviewing, which is like a new level of helpful. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but what it does to the overall rating is it greatly affects it. So you have a whole bunch of 1-star ratings, and now a game like Angry Birds, which normally does very well, has a bunch of 1-star ratings, and you're like, whoa, what happened to Angry Birds? Why does no one like it all of a sudden? And if you do some digging, you'll realize, oh, everyone's just mad at this new update. No big deal. But what I don't understand is the people who go out of their way to write a bad review, and then when the game fixes it, take the time to write a good review. Because it's so much easier to get angry and write a review than it is to be happy and write a review.
I don't write reviews if my game breaks because they updated it. I usually
But
give
that's the
them.
only platform to complain with Apple.
Yeah, I know, and I usually wait and see, like, because I go and look and see if other people are writing like thoughtful reviews that are like, this isn't working anymore, please fix, because they don't need another 1-star please fix. I'll just wait because they know they're getting a mass amount of 1-stars. They know it's broken. It's, do they care to fix it? And I just wait. If they fix it within a day or two, then there's no need. But if they take longer than that, I might go give it a 1-star.
But I see how the date's important because a lot of times you see all these 1-star reviews and they're at the top for the actual reviews are at the top, but yet they have these great ratings, and it's because when you look to see when the last update was 2012. Well, there you go. That's the reason why. I think developers need to be on top of that though, and at least take the app off of the store or something, if they're not planning on updating it. If it's not going to work with the current OS, I mean, that would be the
Do
best
you,
thing for them to do.
do you guys remember that stat we found a while back where it said like 500 or so games are released every X amount of time interval? It was like every minute or something crazy. I don't know, like some ridiculous statistic that said basically the App Store is getting 500 new games every bleh. And I think it was within something reasonable like 24 hours or something really crazy within like an hour. I don't know. Crazy stat. But I just wish, regardless of what that is, that's a lot of games. Even if that was 500 new games a week, that's a ton of games. I really wish we would see more apps leaving the App Store and getting cleaned out. There's just
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
crap. There's
If
so
something
many,
hasn't been
anyone can
updated,
replicate a game and make it a total scam.
yeah.
Well,
If it,
don't they have some stuff in place to kind of, like, I know Apple just says no more of this type of game after a while. Like, they
well,
will
it's
just
the
say no.
licensing. People have to pay a specific, like Android is open. You pay one
No, they
fee,
they've
boom.
started putting a little bit of a gate up too on
Have they?
clones. Yeah,
Because I know
it's
like
not as tight as Apple, but yeah.
Apple's is an annual. You have to buy for each app that you make. You have to purchase a separate license for, and it's an annual thing,
Yuck.
And they,
something like that.
yeah, I
I
don't know.
think.
It's just I'm seeing more and more. It's getting harder and harder to search the App Store for me.
I wish there was better ways to search the app stores. Like, for real. Like, there's no excuse when Google as a search engine is the most used, most, like, easily you can find right what you're looking for in so many different ways, and the way they have it separated by pictures and videos and stuff. Such a great search engine, and they have absolutely the worst way to look for apps.
Music too on
It's
Google Play.
it's insanely terrible. And it's like, really? You couldn't do better than this where I can filter like no, they need some filters or
Yeah.
something. It's I
They
don't
have,
want to see the freemium games.
yeah,
Please let me filter
they
them out.
they have little tabs or something on there saying the top rated games. Well, of
Oh,
course they're
but
gonna.
they're all like promoted, like
Yeah,
premium
of
games. I'm
course,
like,
yeah.
I don't care about Candy Crush. Let me filter that kind of
Oh my
garbage out.
God, that's always it's always
Because
the
that's
game
like the
that
big
pops.
thing right now. Like I would say Farmville if it was still that, but now
Candy Crush isn't big anymore.
it's well, yeah, that's on its way out.
They're
I
milking
don't
it.
know what
That's just,
the big one is now though.
I'm starting to see more ads for Candy Crush because I think they are running really like low on
Game of
customers.
War, that's the one I see all the ads for right now.
Yeah. I
Oof.
think they started a new marketing campaign to try to get more people playing Candy Crush again. But I have one more story that I found that was of interest to me. Kind of interesting anyway. If you're someone who plays The Sims 4, I know we were following it for a little bit. There's going to be a new expansion pack already for The Sims 4, but they just delayed it. And the reasoning was very positive, like, oh, well, we just want to polish it, we want to make it a deeper experience. And the expansion pack is called Get Together. The Get Together expansion pack. It looks like a mix of the House Party expansion pack and the Nightlife expansion pack because you can make your own clubs, your own nightclubs. They added a DJ and dance skill. And now they've delayed it until November. How many expansions has this game put out since it's come out, though?
oh my God.
It's already... I feel like there's definitely 2, maybe 3. I know I get confused because now they do expansions and then just, like, item things you can buy, where it's just a whole bunch of stuff. Stuff packs. No real content, just, like, new clothes and furniture, derps, and
Dogs,
herp-derps.
cats.
Yeah. This would be the 3rd solid expansion that they've put. And there's one I really want called Get to Work, where you like can run a business. You can follow your sim to work finally and like have him do stuff while he's there. That looked really fun. But
Oh yeah, that would be cool. I remember a lot of times all we do is we'd see them go to work and then that's it.
yeah, you just wait. Now you can actually
Yep.
go to work with them. So that one I want. Other than that, though, this doesn't seem very interesting. I just, I don't know. I saw that and I'm like, oh, delayed. Well, that's actually good because they put too many of these stupid things out. Oh, November. That's not a delay. I didn't know this was happening. So November feels pretty much like you're just announcing it for me. Can't keep
Yeah.
up. Sims 4 is a lot of fun. I don't know. Little story that was of interest to me.
I'm still playing Sims 3.
Are
I
you
can't
really?
make the
know,
update
Sims 3 is
'cause it's too
great.
expensive.
You
It's too
should
rich for my
see it.
blood, so I stay a version back.
I'm going to open Steam real quick. It's going to take a sec because my hard drive's almost full.
I don't. Ooh.
Yeah, my thing is
Steam,
though.
they don't have Sims 4 on Steam. You
No,
have to get it
no.
on Origin.
But they put everything of Sims 3. You wouldn't believe the price.
I am currently Sims 3 I own through Origin, so like I'm
Yeah,
invested in that marketplace.
They put it
Me
on
too. I gotta put the disc in to play it unless I download
Blech.
it from. Oh, I hate that.
The
I love
Sims-
those games though. Like I make little stories for the people in my head and stuff, and like some people I start to really hate, and then I like start being really mean to them, but I don't kill them. I just make their life as miserable as possible. While like somebody they can't have what they want, oh yeah, I'll like dote on them. I'm like a mean girl. It's so awful.
Steam really wants my phone number now.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got the same thing, but don't. It doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
I tried to put my number in there and it just won't accept it. It says error, not a valid format. I tried every format you can think of. It just didn't work.
Huh.
So it's because they updated Steam for that, and I think, and it's not working. They need to fix it. Unless it
There's
works now.
there's what do you call it? On Steam right now, download content for this game. It has like all the content listed. If you go to Sims 3,
Oh, it's
downloadable
working
content
now.
for this game. All the expansions are $20 a piece. Grand total $379.81.
Whoa.
Yeah.
For the old version of the game too. Like that's insane.
That
They
is
need to like
crazy.
bundle it in a big box for like 60 and be done with it.
It's gonna go down over time. I just didn't think after The Sims 4 was well into its third expansion pack, I did not foresee The Sims 3 still costing that much with all
I
of
know.
its
I
content.
would buy way more expansion packs for Sims 3 if they just bring the price down a little bit because it's still like it's the newest version of the game. And
Yeah.
it's not.
Newest successful versions.
I I enjoy playing it from time to time.
I
read-
know it's actually fun. I don't know. I guess there is some differences in Sims 4, but
No,
I
there
mean,
is. There's always differences in every game. I really don't like the real money shop involved in Sims 3. That's my biggest like downfall with this iteration. It kind of makes me angry.
Someone pointed out during one of my Sims 4 streams that when I walked away from the room to use the bathroom, and I saw a chat message when I came back from someone who's like, the screen is completely frozen except for the top right corner with that DLC button just glowing there. Otherwise, it's
the whole
completely- yeah,
game.
the whole time you're playing, there's a little just thing spinning up there like DLC, and it's like, come on, guys, I should be able to turn this off.
Yeah.
It's like they got it running on a separate engine of a part of the game so that it continues to
they
always
suck a whole
work.
core of your processor to make sure you like look that there's DLC
The whole
you can
game
buy.
will crash. Yeah, the whole game will crash, but except for that one little icon.
This whole thing.
Sims has performed a fatal error. Here, would you like to go buy some DLC?
No.
Click here to continue.
The game may not be working, but our
$2.99.
store sure is.
Yeah.
This whole thing got me thinking about City Skylines. I actually got the game. It was on sale for like half price, so I bought it. And I played a very little bit of it, but the bit I played, I loved, like right off the bat. It felt... I haven't seen anything too vastly different from SimCity yet. I know that a lot of people say it's better than SimCity in a lot of ways, but I didn't play enough to get there. But the UI, like, it's giving me all this tutorial stuff, and I'm like, I don't really need this tutorial stuff. I kind of got it. There were some weird things, like in SimCity, they simplified the roads and electricity and water. So you place roads, and as long as the road's running through a certain point, everyone has water and power and stuff, and sewage and all that. In this game, you have to set the power lines, and you have to set the water, but it's not as difficult as I thought it would be. They did it right. It's very intuitive. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed my little bit of time playing, and it made me think, why is it that we can see a SimCity clone so fast, and there's probably been a handful, but there's no clone for The Sims? No one's tried to, like, replicate that, and I find that very strange.
The idea, there's a lot of games with that idea in mind. I mean, RimWorld is actually kind of Simish.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody's ever actually kind of come up with a game that is like that. I don't think so. I mean, that I know of.
I'd be pretty intimidated by it. I mean, The Sims, they have their own language. They have just a lot of, like, simoleons, and it's a whole thing, It's
Right.
not just a life simulator. It just flows so easily. I don't know.
Right.
It is, I would look at that and go, this is clearly a plain ripoff of The Sims. But there's so many different city building games and stuff like that it's easy to make City Skylines a complete copy of SimCity but done better, and it not get criticized for ripping off SimCity. But if anyone tried to replicate The Sims that way, it wouldn't go well. I don't think people would give them even a second thought. They'd be like, "You're stupid. We already have that." But then again, no one really likes EA, so anything to get away from EA.
Yeah.
But there's no game that I can think of that is like The Sims, where you control a dude, and he just chills in his house all day that you build for him, and he takes dumps when you tell him to, and he eats when you tell him to, and he goes to work when you tell him to, and he jacks off when you tell him to, and he's super obedient.
Sounds like a controlling, abusive relationship.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's funny.
So I noticed that, and I was like, huh, I wonder if we'll see that. Now, I wonder if City Skylines will inspire somebody to go, let's fix this whole ridiculously priced DLC BS we have going on with The Sims. Because you shouldn't have to pay almost $350 for a game that's getting pretty up there in age.
Right.
I saw comments, so to be fair, it's a lot of content. I'm like, I don't care.
Not really.
So is Skyrim, but
I mean,
it's
there's
old
items
now.
for them to interact with, but it doesn't really change the game too much. So it's really not that much content for
Somebody
what you're
needs-
paying for.
Somebody needs to come up with a Sims game that's moddable.
That's what's. I think City Skylines got that inspiration too, because you can mod the crap out of City Skylines.
Oh, wow.
One of them was like a first-person one.
The problem with making another
Whoa.
Sims game is it would be hard to make it different enough so that the Sims or EA didn't sue you.
That's true, but you don't. They don't own the rights on life simulators. They own the rights on The Sims.
Yeah. So you would have to make a life simulator, but you'd have to tweak it enough to where it didn't.
Step on any toes. Or...
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can make your own pets. You know, you can have your own pets. You can get the pet mod, you know, that somebody had created.
I just like in my head I can't imagine any better way to do it. So
Yeah.
it'd end up being way very similar and almost so that they could at least send a cease and desist on making it if you were announcing that you were making it, or nope, that's too similar to The Sims. We're gonna sue you now.
Yeah. There's a lot they could do, I think, to improve the multiplayer aspect. I think that was the part of The Sims that had a lot of potential and just failed on every level when they tried to do it with that,
Oh, I
online
would
game.
love like a little multiplayer home where you control your one little avatar and
Make it visit neighbors,
Well,
friends
like-
of yours. Oops.
yeah, or then they're playing at the same time and they can't control you or what you do, but they can kind of interact with you and then you would just choose how you respond to that.
Yeah.
Have you heard of virtual families?
I think you told us about it.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's a very like, you know, like take Sims and take out a lot of your difficulties out of it and just have basic things in it, similar to that, where you control. Basically, what happens is you got this one dude, and he goes online. You know, you can put him on the computer, and he goes online. He can find a date. She'll come over, and if she likes him, then you know, you can propose to her, and then you get married, and then you have children, and you build a family, you know, in this house. And then each time you progress, you gain more money. You're able to buy other portions of the house to build until you have to move on to a newer house because you need a bigger place. And it's pretty neat. Virtual Families is a really, it's kind of an old game, but it could have went somewhere, but it never did. But yeah, I guess that's similar to Sims.
Yeah.
The Sims.
We
But
should
very
talk
basic.
about the new show before we get too late here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we get all excited about all these new things, and
And this is
we
why,
don't want it to end.
and this is why the show must go on in some fashion or another.
Yeah.
Now, this week is a really great example of why a new show is kind of makes sense for us. We sometimes struggle to find things to talk about on Everything Noob. When we first started and up until recently, we were doing just news like we've been doing this evening. And then when we tried to kind of hone it in on just certain themes or topics, it became more difficult every single week to like pick a theme and run with it. You know, we've tried all these different ways to do the show. The new show, we do have more details to give you as promised from last week. We can tell you that it's going to be between 30 and 45 minutes. And until next week, I won't really have any of this nailed down, but for the most part, I can say that
That's shameful.
with confidence. I know. Been
Got a
very, very
logo
busy.
at least.
Huh?
There's a logo at least.
There's a logo, thanks to Jemmy,
I haven't even seen.
that Jella hasn't even seen. There is...
They're slowly pushing me out. No, it's kidding.
No, he just he's like, I've been trying to make this logo and it's just not working. Do you think you could just like see what you can do?
And she did it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
No. It took like maybe
Done.
2 hours. And that was part of that was 15-30 minutes trying to extrapolate some information on like what Vortac was looking for in a logo.
Yeah, I was like in the middle of something else too. Like I was really busy that day.
Yeah.
But tomorrow I'm going to be doing a lot more work on it. Basically, what we have so far is the logo and the backdrop and the windows. We know how it's going to look to the audience. It's going to be a lot more video heavy. The show's going to open up with myself talking about the game of the week. And we're calling the show Indie Games Without Frames. And that was a title thought up by our friend Weem, who may be appearing on the show from time to time. We're going to call it IGWF for short, Indie Games Without Frames, or IGWF. Someone I worked with today said that, oh, IGWF. And I'm like, now our mascot's a dog. Thank you. Thank you for that.
An Iggy one.
An Alaskan Malamute in an igloo, to be precise.
There you go.
Ooh.
No, so IGWF, it's going to start with the game of the week, Indie Games Without Frames, meaning non-linear games. A lot of survival type games. We always talk about Minecraft, stuff like that. This kind of fits that category, like the just games we love to play. So it's going to start out, I'm going to sit there, there's going to be some content on the screen of the game itself. I'm going to talk about the game of the week, tell you what I liked, maybe what I didn't like, depending on the game. And then we will transition to the discussion. And the discussion portion is what's going to take up the brunt of the show. And we will discuss we could discuss a few different things. Generally, those discussions could be about the game of the week, or a big news story that's going on, or maybe just a different game we're all addicted to a lot and just have to talk about. The show isn't going to be limited to just the game of the week. That's going to be the first segment.
Right.
And then the third segment is going to be open-ended. Once we start getting our flow and getting things together, we're going to start doing contests again. We're going to be taking user comments and doing stuff with those. And the third segment will eventually start happening more frequently, but for now it's kind of like an open-ended thing. So we're looking at doing it in such a way where if the show runs for 45 minutes, only 30 minutes will be uploaded as a podcast. And that'll be basically our discussion.
Right.
We're limiting the podcast length to 30 minutes just on the audio version because of basically money restrictions. We've been paying for the show for the last 3 years to do an hour every week, and hosting.
If we go over that hour,
it's
more.
It's an extra $2 for the month, and
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hosting costs just went up for us, so we're kind of like, maybe it's time we do this a little more cost effectively. So we found out that if we do half-hour shows, it doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah.
So that is why the change there. And if you want a longer show, obviously coming to the YouTube channel, which will be my YouTube channel, Vortec Vids, you'll get the full show. Yeah. So definitely a lot of changes. It's going to be a very different kind of show and a lot more focused. We'll be pulling in a lot more indie devs this way because the first part of the show is going to focus on a project that an indie dev is obviously very proud of. It's very possible we could get that indie dev on the show to do an interview with them that week, all sorts of stuff.
And indie, back in even say 3 years ago, talking indie game was kind of like, what's that?
Yeah.
Indie is like a popular term now. So, there are thousands and thousands of indie games out there, and there's a lot to talk about. So, and they keep coming. Every day you learn about a new indie game that's coming out. And so we'll definitely have content out there. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. The only other thing we're trying to figure out currently behind the scenes is how the discussion portion is going to work. it was suggested that perhaps having just 2 people for the primary discussion would be a little more intimate and might be a different way to go than we've normally done. We've done 3 to 4 people on the podcast. And if we did that, we'd be rotating through co-hosts out of Jemmy and Dreadlow and Weem and whoever else decided to jump on board, maybe Drew as well. Every week the main co-host would change. And anyone who wasn't on the show, you'd probably see them in some capacity. We may have them jump on for like a certain segment, or we may have them do their own little segment and put it in somewhere in that discussion. So, let's see what Dreadlow's cooking up, and suddenly the scene changes and Dreadlow's showing us this thing he did in some game or something like that. Everyone's still going to be around, but we're kind of toying with the idea of doing a one-on-one discussion instead of the round table 3 to 4 people discussion.
Yeah.
That's the one that's not really set in stone yet. That's the big one that we're still like, well, What's up, Jemmy?
Oh, nothing. I just thought of something. Don't.
What?
Nope. No.
You can't talk about it on the podcast?
No, I can't talk about it. No.
Okay. Well, thanks for that.
I mean, I can talk about it later when we're not live, but not on the show because I don't want. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it would be a lot of work, but not a lot of work at the same time. Like, I don't know.
I can hear it. I can hear it. I can hear it.
You can hear it. You hear the brainwave.
I can hear it from.
Well,
no, I'm just kidding.
Like, no, I'll have to run that by you to see how you think, because we were talking about segments and stuff, like something we could do.
Yeah. We are going to be changing the current Everything Noob Twitter account to IGWF. So if you follow us on Everything Noob, you're going to be getting those updates instead. But the Everything Noob YouTube channel will remain with all its original logos and branding and things like that. And at least for now, everythingnoob.com will remain the same. We're going to keep the URL regardless, but what I'm thinking is going to happen is we're just going to reskin the site to represent that new show, or perhaps just something more generalized. So just expect those things. If you have us bookmarked anywhere, though, if you're following us on Twitter, anything like that, you'll find that those things just kind of change.
Yeah, don't worry. You don't have to go bookmark new stuff. It's all going to redirect.
Yeah,
so.
Except for the YouTube channel. That one, you're going to need to be subscribed to Vortec Vids. So,
Yeah.
pretty simple.
Well, we should probably put like a little like annotation on the video, like that just clicks over to the playlist for the new show.
Yeah. I'll probably have to be reminded to do that once we have the new show up and I have the playlist made, so we can get that going.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's about everything I have to say about the new show. It's that's everything we know about it so far. And hopefully next week when we do the first episode and things go horribly wrong, we'll learn from it and it'll just kind of develop, kind of like Everything Noob did over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's been a lot of fun. Definitely a couple of big inspirations for me doing this show. The Shaft podcast. And
Oh, as a matter of fact, speaking of the Shaft podcast, they did their last
They just did their last episode.
was like 2 nights ago.
Yeah. They went for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It was their 5th anniversary.
they just wanted to move on from Minecraft, which is totally fair because Minecraft is kind of tapering off.
They've been
Well,
doing
it was-
forever too.
It was cool for like a year. Eric or
Brent?
the Wilson guy,
Oh, Wes Wilson.
Wes Wilson and Eric Fullerton were not on the show. It was just I can't even think. Brent.
Yeah.
Brent Copeland. Brent Copeland, and he had a couple of people, some YouTubers or whatever, that were hosting with him for like a whole year. And then this last show that they did, all of them were there.
Oh, that's
Eric,
nice.
Wes, Brent, and then they had the 2 new co-hosts or whatever, or actually 3. They had Good on there, so because he did it for a little while with them. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are taken our lead here.
We
No, just
didn't
kidding.
know until recently that they were going to not be doing a show anymore at the 5th anniversary.
It was just
we're not
a
quitting because of
coincidence.
them or anything
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
a
That was just
total
coincidence.
coincidence. They're quitting because of us. No, I'm just kidding.
They're like, well, if they have to quit, we gotta quit.
I quit podcasting now. Shaft Podcast definitely a big inspiration because we started this thing when we were playing Minecraft.
Yeah.
Basically, that was all we were playing. Another big inspiration, Rooster Teeth Podcast, for sure. Listen to that one religiously, and it's...
Of course, they were much more comical.
Yes, they have a lot of just a lot of funny stories, and that's kind of it. Really got me listening to them. Got me really excited to podcast. Like I was listening to them just before we started this one, like on my way
that
home.
I listened to, and this was back when I was playing Final Fantasy XI, was Limit Break Radio.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it was really big in the 11 community, but like out if you weren't like playing the game, like you wouldn't hear about it because a lot of times what they do is they pull somebody in and they like focus on a topic in the game and just give a lot of good information and stuff if you're trying to learn more.
Yeah.
It's a really good podcast. It was funny too.
Other people to thank. Definitely friends and family. A lot of our friends and family were big supporters of the show.
So patient.
Tuned in all the time when we were live. From what I know, they still watch the show on YouTube. So big thanks to them. Usually when friends of mine know I'm doing something kind of silly, they, I don't really tell them about it. They kind of ignore it. But there is a certain group of friends that did, enjoy the podcast, and I've always been really grateful for that because stuff like this, I don't know. I'm not a big sharer of my hobbies with my friends and family and stuff. So this was one that a lot of our friends and family were supportive on, and definitely big thanks to them. Big thanks to Drew for lending his voice to the show at no charge to us, which was cool.
Very expensive voice.
Yes, Drew's a professional and definitely helped us out.
I'm sure you could maybe hire him at his professional rates.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So, yeah. I'm sure I'm forgetting all kinds of people. When we first started, the original announcer I just used from the college radio station that this was actually on.
Oh,
before
yeah.
It became a podcast.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a story behind how we carried on with everything new. It was you started it as a thing in college at the college radio show, but it was only like a few episodes or whatever, right?
It didn't go very long because I only had like 1 or 2 shows a week.
And it was just you.
It was me and one other guy, and that other guy would change from time to time because he couldn't make it or whatever, and we would just talk about a news story in gaming or whatever, and then play music.
It was short. It was kind of short too.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of like content there, but I enjoyed doing it, and I knew I wasn't going to be on the college radio station forever. I'm like, we got to turn this into like our own thing.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. But thanks to that voice guy who reluctantly, I'll say, let us use his stuff for as long as we did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not naming him, because he wasn't like thrilled about it.
Yeah.
But he let us.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Nice guy.
Nice guy. It was nice of him. It was around the holiday season when we started, and he's like, well, because Christmas is coming up.
Merry Christmas.
But mostly I don't want to name him because I don't have any of the information to link back to him. It's just been way too long.
Now, if we became the most popular podcast in America, then maybe you might say, I want a little... No. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah.
So, apologies to anyone I've missed, but those are the big ones that stick out to me in terms of people to thank for the show. It's been a lot of fun. Fun 3 years. 3 years.
Yeah, been a long time.
Didn't quite make to 150, but that is okay. It's better to it's better not to drag something on.
Who
just
knows?
For,
I mean,
OCD's sake.
There is no plans, but maybe this show will be revitalized, or there'll be something similar, like down the road.
It's very
way down the road. Very way down the road.
Very possible.
No, don't even think it. But it's like maybe it won't be. There's a reason we're not deleting this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. You never
Yeah.
know. There's been plenty of times where I'm doing
Oh,
Let's Plays, and I'm like, I don't want to do Let's Plays anymore. And eventually,
What?
I want to do Let's Plays again.
Oh, are we having more
I was gonna
brainwaves? Can we
say-
talk about this one or?
for those who might be wondering, we're still going to be doing First Street, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that, and I wanted to get that out there because in case everybody go, oh, there goes First Street, or goes,
No. We're still friends. We're still
No.
doing stuff. Just
Yeah.
it's time to move on to bigger and better things.
actually, the three of us had a really bad fight and we decided to just give it up. No, it's kidding.
Yeah. First
The
Street.
flood in South Carolina was blood.
First Street is still heavy in writing process. Unfortunately, I just haven't had any time for myself or for to sit all of us down and continue with writing it. But I have a very clear idea of how the whole season is going to play out, like the main story. We just got to put it in writing, and once the whole thing is written, we can start actually shooting the damn thing. And this is probably a good time to mention that our Minecraft server is public again. Completely public.
Woo!
Wow.
Thanks to our friends Kage and Dell and everyone working so hard to get mods on there again so we can actually use it without worrying about people's stuff getting stolen and destroyed. So hit up, I guess, everythingnoob.com or vortecvids.com, and it's the same website, and info on there. We've been really bad about updating the forums because these little kids don't like using forums because they're for old people or something. So
They kind of are. Like,
no, but
like the forums are kind of like a dead way to. I mean, they're great. I love forums, and maybe that's my age showing, but they're a really great way to get like good detailed discussion. Because Twitter, you just can't get enough in there.
yeah.
And Facebook's just way too personal.
So we'll be posting like the IP address and stuff like that on our forums, and that is the same server that the First Street set is getting built on. So it's going to be a really good platform. Especially pay attention to that if you want to be an extra on the show. Once we actually start shooting, we will be looking for extras to keep the town busy, to keep stuff going in the background. So that'll be really cool. I'm excited for it. And hopefully we can spend some time getting that written. But right now we are focused on also getting this new show done as well. So bear with us. But it is happening on the Vortec Vids YouTube channel. And yeah,
I think that's it.
I think that's it. I think that covers it.
Yeah.
So thanks again to everyone who has been a big supporter of the show and has listened from day one. You guys are awesome. And we hope you carry on and come with us to the next show that should be starting next week.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave you without an episode.
Bye-ish.
Bye-ish.
Until next show.
Yeah.
Bye-ish, everybody.
Bye-ish.
Bye-ish.
We'll see you next time.